हमने इस और कई हमारे दोस्त जो कराची में हैं, जो दीगर अजला में हैं, जो आपके यहाँ जो लाहौर हाई कोर्ट बार के सदर हैं, जो सुप्रीम कोर्ट बार के सदर हैं, उन सब से मुशावरत करके हमने ये सोचा कि आज हम उसी तसलसल से 15 अप्रैल 2023 के तसलसल से आज कुछ मज़ीद आगे का लाया अमल और हिकमत अमली और क्या वकला की डिमांड्स हो सकती हैं, आज की सूरत हाल में मुतालबात हो सकते हैं, उनकी रोशनी में हम आज आपसे के साथ मिलें और प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस करें और इंदिया दें कि आइंदा कुछ हम लाया अमल सोच रहे हैं कि नहीं, क्योंकि सूरत हाल तो बहुत ख़राब हो गई। सूरत हाल तो इतनी ख़राब हो गई है कि अदालतों के हाई कोर्ट और सुप्रीम कोर्ट के फैसले नहीं माने जा रहे हैं और एक तवायफुल मलूकी और अनारकी क्रिएट हो गई है। पर मैं इस पे ज़्यादा बात अभी नहीं करता हूँ, बाद में सवाल जवाब भी होंगे, खोसा साहब उनको एड्रेस करेंगे। मैं ये डिक्लेरेशन को पढ़ देता हूँ ताकि ये रिकॉर्ड पे आ जाए। और ये पाकिस्तान लॉयर, आपको आप में जो भी चाहेंगे उनको वो व्हाट्सएप नंबर आप देंगे सरदार खुर्रम खोसा साहब को, तो वो आपको व्हाट्सएप में ये सारा टेक्स्ट मिल जाएगा, सॉफ्ट कॉपी। अगर वो हार्ड कॉपी भी आ जाती हैं, अभी हो रही हैं, वो भी दे देंगे हम। Pakistan Lawyers Action Committee, PLAC, after due deliberations, in consultation with the senior lawyers of the country who participated in the roundtable conference held on 15th of April 2023 at Lahore, minutely assessing the current situation, have come to the conclusion that हम इस नतीजे पे पहुंचे हैं सारी सूरत, whereas the situation in the country is descending to a level so low as to be justifiably depicted today as a country without constitution, sarzameen be-ain, particularly since disappearances such as the anchor person Imran Riaz, the audacious daylight kidnapping and abduction by goons of the Islamabad police of former Chief Minister Punjab Chaudhry Parvez Ilahi, and the arrest and rearrest ad infinitum of political workers to pressure them to change loyalties of whatever description, the handing over of the physical custody of a young girl as young as Iman Mazari to a police force known for abuse and torture, the maltreatment of demeaning and the malintent of demeaning superior courts and their judges by brazen, public and outrageous defiance of their express orders, as has become the routine of the present caretaker government, as was of its predecessors immediately in the preceding administration. Shahbaz Sharif Sahab ki joining. And whereas every possible command, duty, constraint, prohibition or liability by or under the Constitution of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan has been flouted with impunity and the Constitution reduced to a nullity. This is the more particularly apparent in the manner in which two provinces have been ruled by nominated, assumingly caretaker administrations which have outlived their constitutional terms of 90 days and have become usurpers under the Constitution. The obvious intent of refusing to hold elections to any assembly within the 90 days prescribed by the Constitution, as well as by the Honorable Supreme Court, and these caretakers, kursi, failing to direct the police forces under them to protect public property, particularly that related to valuable and sensitive defense establishments, from perfectly managing isolated groups of antisocial elements and thereafter to arrest and detain a vast spectrum of political cadres and leaders, men and women, old and young, and to prevent and obstruct their release even when directed by a superior court. And whereas the situation has become so chaotic that there seems to be no government to control galloping inflation, record unemployment, malnutrition, unprecedented suicides, closure of industries and businesses, power, gas, and fuel shortages, as well as the disappearance from the markets of such essential commodities as atta, sugar, and medicines. The unending levy of heavy and heavier taxes and price hike has wiped out and eliminated the middle class and broken the back of the poor who are reduced to starvation. The burning of the electricity bills by the people and the shutter down of businesses across the country, with the caretakers least concerned, is likely to increase into an uncontrolled suicidal Rakse Bismil. And whereas public law and order have completely broken down, governance and society pulverized by street crimes, housebreakings and dacoities, unending assaults on women and children, with the police often found a guilty party and a stakeholder to the mischief. The Jallianwala carnage was no less horrifying than the 9th May mayhem, because this additionally and globally disfigured the image of Pakistan abroad. And whereas the lawyers' community has been following the descent of society towards anarchy and total atomization of civil society with concern and trepidation. Atomization मतलब रेजा मुंतशर हो जाना society का, माशरा मुंतशर हो रहा है. But it appears that now the time has come that this community, the lawyers' community, to also weigh in and at a minimum ensure the upholding of the rule of law, tempered with justice, tolerance, and goodwill for all. Now, therefore, we, the undersigned, as well as those who have communicated their consent and request to be deemed as signatories to this declaration, we resolve to ensure that authority and dignity of the courts of law is upheld by all sections of society, and the courts and learned judges to immediately and without any reservation accept the authority and respect of the incumbent Chief Justice, whomsoever he may be, from the day of his taking oath to the last day of his tenure. The authority and dignity of all other institutions, civil or military, strictly within the parameters prescribed by the Constitution, has to be recognized. Progress, we have to ensure that progress is made towards the goal of restoration of a peaceful and tolerant state of affairs, within which all citizens and institutions, political and non-political, play their constitutionally mandated role, leading to all the peoples and parties of Pakistan to coexist in peace and harmony, and to serve the poor and needy in a spirit of reconciliation and without prejudice hatred, or attrition between any persuasion, religion, caste, creed, color, class, gender, age, station, status, wealth, or disability. The restoration of democracy, which is the essence of the Constitution, by holding the general election within 90 days as mandated by Article 48(5) of the Constitution and allowing no delay on any pretext whatsoever, as were deferred indefinitely in the case of Punjab and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, despite the clear verdict of the Supreme Court of Pakistan and even more emphatic provisions of the Constitution. 48(5) आइन की क्लॉज है और उसके अल्फाज हैं when the president dissolves the assembly, he shall appoint a date not later than 90 days, for the election. अब not later than 90 days ये सिर्फ नहीं है कि within 90 days, ये imperative है, ये ज़्यादा सख्त है, आपको वुकला बताएंगे, ये नेगेटिव इम्पेरेटिव है, इससे मतलब है कोई मफर ही नहीं, फरार ही नहीं, और इन्होंने उसका भी लिहाज और एहतराम नहीं किया. The forthwith release of all lawyers, political cadres, and leaders arrested or detained, and a discontinuing of all intimidatory tactics, preventing them from enjoying the fundamental right of freedom and the ability to perform their professional and social obligations. We emphasize that the government in Pakistan needs to prioritize the pain and suffering of the people over the dictates and prescriptions of international money lenders. We emphasize that the government of Pakistan needs to prioritize the pain and suffering of the people over the dictates and prescriptions of international money lenders. We will strive for convening a grand political dialogue amongst all political parties to ensure free and fair impartial elections within 90 days. And to this purpose, this Pakistan Lawyers Action Committee, formed by the Round Table Conference held at Lahore on 15th April 2023, appreciates the courageous efforts of the Supreme Court Bar Association and its leadership in convening a convention on the 7th of September on the same objectives as are being presented and unfolded now. We support the 7th of the September convention and call upon all lawyers who can to participate. The Pakistan Lawyers Action Committee, PLAC, demands the authorities to accept the lawyers' demands of: 1. The full restoration of and compliance with the Constitution in recognition of the fact that the bills not signed or deemed to have been signed by the President and thus not assented to are not acts of Parliament. To immediately restore the Constitution and full obedience to the law barring the bills not assented to by the President of Pakistan. The recognition that all military courts are incompetent to try civilian citizens of any charge and therefore calls upon the government to discontinue the policy of setting up military courts. It calls upon the Election Commission and the government to hold elections within the mandated 90 days. The right of full and free participation to all political parties, their cadres and leaders on a truly level playing field is also demanded. Irrespective of the leader or the party or the persuasion he may belong to. This is not a forum of any particular one political party. It is a forum for all political parties. The immediate revision of all utility bills and the rationalization of all taxes payable by the people of Pakistan. Failing which, the Pakistan Lawyers Action Committee will convene an All-Pakistan Lawyers Convention to achieve the above objectives through a non-violent movement in accordance with law and fundamental rights in coordination with the Supreme Court Bar Association, the High Court Bar Associations, the Provincial Bar Associations, and all district bar associations. As there have been several most honorable presidents of the SCBA since 2007 to maintain continuity with the last movement undertaken by the lawyers 2007 to 2009, a peaceful and successful movement, Mr. Aitzaz Ahsan, Senior ASC, has been requested to preside at the convention in the capacity of the Chairman National Coordination Council, elected for the indefinite tenure of that movement in August 2008. This presently has the signature and endorsement of all our friends here in their various representations.